Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Walker, Senior Vice President of Public Policy for the Overland Park Chamber of Commerce. With me today is Wayne Sandberg, a candidate for Johnson County Community College Board of Trustees. Today we're going to spend some time getting to know Wayne and learn about his candidacy and the priorities he has if elected to the Board of Trustees. Wayne, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Kevin. It's nice to be here.
Great. Let's start by having you take a few minutes to tell us about yourself and why you're running for this position.
Okay, I've been a resident. I built a house out on 119th Street back in 1979. 119th was a gravel road at that time, and it stopped right there at the subdivision. Johnson County Community College started about 10 years before that, so my family has grown with the college. And all my kids did their 2 years before they went to Pepperdine, Stevens, and Embry-Riddle. But they got their 2 years in here. My wife was and I've done some adult education courses there. It's a wonderful institution. It is up to date on about everything. The sustainability of the college is about as good as you can find in the country. I have kids that live in Maryland and Florida, and I would say that our college, as far as all the social aspects, is up to date or better than most. And I'm running. I'm semi-retired. I've had a feed ingredient trading operation. I owned elevators and grain facilities and pet food plants from Minnesota down through Texas. Sold them all. I still have one to go, but I run a trade room not too far from here, and we trade futures, options, and stocks there, and we have quite a few people in there. But I'm running because in 2026, due to the low birth rate from 2008 calamity, we're going to see a reduction of about 15% in enrollment. Now, that coupled with the last 10 years of decreased enrollment, we're faced with a situation where either the college is going to have to increase the cost for the student. Of course, the mill levy, the way it is right now with the price of homes going up, the mill levy should not be increased at all. But we have, with inflation and everything, we're going to see some significant things going on here. And my experience in starting, developing companies, and going out and seeking to expand is, I think, better than the other candidates. So,
good. Well, let's start in on our questions, and let's start with what would be your top agenda priorities as a trustee that you'd work towards the betterment of the college and the education that it provides?
Okay. Age, I'm older than most of the candidates. I think I'm older than all the candidates, and I've been around the block a few times. I feel like I no longer trip over the same rock. And I believe that this institution, along with every other institution in the United States, they built it, and they hoped that their students would come. That doesn't work anymore. We have to take a more aggressive approach. Like a business, we have to run it like a business. We have to go out and seek these students. We have to go out and work with the businesses to go into their HR and say, hey, how can we put in a program to make your company better? How can we put in something where you can go out and seek people from California or the East Coast or whatever to bring them into your company? How can we grow this Johnson County businesses to achieve that? So I see the budget having to be focused on recruiting. more so than anything else. We had the recruiting department right now at the Johnson County Community College is 4 people. They're young people. They're just starting out. They go to high schools and they hand out literature. But I'm a businessman. That doesn't get it. You have to be aggressive.
You've talked about this a little bit, but with respect to paying for the cost of educating the college's students, where do you stand regarding tuition increases versus mill levy increases, and what's the appropriate way to balance those interests?
Well, once again, the mill levy, with the price of homes going up, the average homeowner that has a house that's been in it for a while, it's going to hurt them a little bit. Even though the price of the house is going up, the mill levy increases to where the taxes hurt a little bit. And as far as, so I don't see mill levy being increased at all. With my program that I see, if we increase enrollment, it'll take care of everything. That's including raising tuition. I cannot see raising tuition. Now, the Biden administrations, they're talking about free college, which they'll pay for about 75%. That's another elephant that's going to be in the room here shortly. So I cannot see raising tuition. I see to focus on the recruiting of students with aggressive approach of recruiting, and I got some ideas which we'll probably talk about here in a little bit. I don't see increasing in tuition or mill levy as being that I would stand for.
And we all know Kansas is experiencing low unemployment rates, and employers are struggling to find qualified workers, especially in the skilled and technical trades. What role should Johnson County Community College play with regard to workforce development, both locally and statewide?
Okay, the tradition of the community college has always been to prepare students for going on to a 4-year institution. Well, you got a KU, you got K-State, you got Avila, you got all kinds of colleges coming in to Johnson County and stealing the first 2 years of students that normally would be going to the community college. I believe the community college should tackle workforce empowerment more so than anything else, and I think that's a big future in this college's agenda. So.
And on the other end of this, what do you see as the key aspect of the community college's coordination with our high schools, universities, and other post-secondary educational institutions?
Okay, one thing in my own personal case, my kids went to Pepperdine out in California. One went to Stevens in Columbia, and another one went to Embry-Riddle Aviation down in Florida. But the first year, well, 1 year, 2 year, I had it done here. Now, there's a lot of high school, and if you go to their advisors, there's a lot of students that might be going to Harvard, or might be going to Penn, might be going to Texas A&M, might be going to Colorado. Work with them and say, hey, we believe that we can teach these kids as well as they can the first 2 years, and the flunk out rates and the freshmen are something else, and to keep these kids home for another year or two and then go on. Also, we should be reaching out to universities beyond the state and say, hey, if you want to come in and talk to these students, we'd like to educate the first 2 years with them.
And in a broader perspective, what's your vision for the college 10 years from now?
Okay, once again, we got a dilemma coming up in 2026 and beyond. The last few years, birth rates are down, enrollments not I mean, it's an elephant in the room that we have to deal with, and if we tackle it the way I think we should tackle it, I believe that the future is very good. Now, I was one of the first people. I loaded a container of distillers grains at my feed mill here in Kansas City, and we shipped it out. And then my plant only held 7 cars, and the big shippers wanted train loads. So, but anyway, if you go out to Edgerton here, this Kansas City is one of 2 places. The other one being Joliet, Illinois, of container unloading. And the future of Kansas City is huge, but we have to get ready for it, and the college just has to be a critical part of it. And once again, I feel technical degrees and trade certificates is the way to go. And once again, it's in the recruiting. That's the area we have to tackle, and we have to tackle it now because we don't have a whole lot of time. So.
And my last question for you, Wayne, is why do you believe you're uniquely qualified to serve on the Board of Trustees? And finally, why are you seeking this office?
Well, when I graduated, first of all, I had the GI bill to go to college. But beyond that, I worked every night until 4 a.m. in the morning, and then I got up at 8 o'clock and went to school and slept through classes. But no. But I made it through school, and I got out of college without owing anything. But things have changed now. It's radically different, and these 4-year degrees in certain degrees aren't the way to go. And I feel that my experience in I started out with $10 in my pocket, and I grew my company to having huge facilities, including dog food plants from Minnesota down through Texas, out through Idaho and stuff, and I know how to grow. I know how to grow it, and I know how to tackle this situation that we're going to be faced with. And the other candidates are still talking about social issues and stuff. Now that might get me in trouble, but I do feel that this college is wonderful in the social aspects, and maybe, yeah, sure, it can be tweaked a little bit and maybe improved. But we have to tackle the real problem, and the real problem is student enrollment.
Well, Wayne, I want to thank you for spending a little time with us today. And before we wrap up, I want to give you a couple minutes to provide any final thoughts you'd like to offer.
Well, my website is waynesandberg.com. If you just go to the first page, you can see all these wonderful businesses that we have, and I didn't name them all, but just by looking at the front page, you can see how much potential we have here in Johnson County, and this college. Now, I've been paying that mill levy since 1979. I helped grow this college, and the other thing about this college is that it's got it's the hub of the culture here. We got a museum out there. We got all kinds of incoming acts and stuff that people that are retired or whatever can take advantage of and say, hey, I've been paying these taxes. At least I'm getting something back, which is a heck of a lot better than other mill levies we're paying for. So anyway, I feel that I've been around the block a few times, and I think I'm a lot more qualified than any of the other candidates.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us for today's interview, and let me remind everyone that advance voting by mail begins Wednesday, October 13th. Advance voting in person begins Saturday, October 23rd, and of course, Election Day is Tuesday, November 2nd.
Thank you.